Hi everyone. Today is Friday, May 17th. I'm already gonna cry.
No.
I am. So today we went to the doctor, and then to our high risk doctor, and he did another ultrasound, and they found another thing on baby B. So his heart is beating good. Baby A is good. Baby B's bladder looks better. Last update we said that his bladder was really big, but this time I guess it looks smaller, so it's working.
It's not distended is what they said. It's still big, but it's not distended. So it's not fully blocked.
Yeah.
The kidneys did show up as echogenic, I believe is how they described it, meaning that they're appearing brighter on the ultrasound, which they didn't seem to think that is necessarily anything to be concerned about. So we're kind of just putting that in the back of our minds right now.
Yeah. Then so there was they did an anatomy scan today. Today I am 18 weeks exact, and so as they were measuring everything, the ultrasound tech said, have they mentioned anything about his arm, baby B's? We're talking about baby B right now. And no, of course not. We haven't heard anything about that. And she showed us he is missing a bone on his forearm, his left forearm, and it's causing his hand to face, I don't know, a weird way.
Normally on the ultrasounds, the hands basically just point straight, and his is
just like that. It's
kind of at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, it's weird, and at this point we don't know if he can move it, and so we won't know until he's born, I think, right?
They said they could do some evasive tests that obviously even he said that no doctor would really perform it at this point because of the fact that it's a mono pregnancy, because they could obviously go in with the needle and get cells, but they could get cells from baby A, which are perfectly normal cells, versus baby B. And obviously that would be to check if there's any chromosomal or genetic concerns. As of right now, we've had all the normal chromosome checks and everything came back good. They were all negative for any chromosomal issues, but not just because of the bone or the hand issue, but when you take that in consideration with the fact that the baby has heart defects, the bladder issue, right now it's also looking like there's an issue with one of the umbilical cords not necessarily being completely or fully developed as well. They usually have two functioning arteries,
but she said it's normally fine, but in this case he has a heart problem. So
exactly. If you take all of these things by themselves, they're usually not an issue to be concerned about. Obviously anything with the heart is an issue, but when you combine all of these factors together, it starts to point to something genetic or chromosomal going on.
So I googled what they said,
The symptoms.
and the thing that came up was, say it, ulnar
dysplasia.
Or dysplasia?
Dysplasia.
Ulnar dysplasia. And I found a picture that looks like in the ultrasound. So that's what his arm looks like, and I asked the doctor if that's something that can be done surgery on so that it could function as normal, and he said he doesn't know.
He said there's a wide spectrum, and there are cases where it has. It just kind of depends on, at this point, if there's no bone formed, are there other things that haven't formed as well, like muscle tissue, nerve endings, things like that. If everything else is fine and it's just the bone missing, then there's a possibility they could do a surgery and do some sort of replacement of the bone and
Implant.
Right.
Put an implant, but he
And
said
then-
he doesn't know, and the hardest part to me was that if like his hand can't move, then we're looking to having to amputate.
Yeah, if there's no nerve endings that have been formed and the hand is completely unmovable and obviously there's no senses, no feeling in that hand, then you would have to consider amputation because, if there's infections, other damage that occurs to that hand when you lose feeling in it, that can create, other problems that could be, a factor. So,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, that would be what we're looking at.
Worst case, I guess.
Best case scenario would be that only the bone is missing, and then we could do some sort of implant, and through physical therapy over time, the baby would get full control of his hand, and then over time it would be, functioning normally.
Yeah, it's just, I just feel like every time we go there, it's more and more.
Yeah.
And I go in there like positive every single time, hoping for better news, but it just feels like there isn't. I don't know, like
You just feel when you're sitting there.
I just feel like I'm freaking shattered. I don't know what to do, and I want to stay positive and I want to keep my faith high, but it's really hard at moments like right now where I feel helpless. It just feels like he's gonna have such a hard life. And I think about everything. Jared's so positive and it's good, but I just think about everything, like people feeling sorry for him his whole life. And I know I should think about the positives. The doctor said that he's thriving.
The baby's got a strong heartbeat. It's measuring great. It's measuring right on length with its brother.
Yeah, they're both 9 ounces.
Everything as far as like the measurements, they're almost identical. So there is good news.
Their cords have started to tangle, he said, up by the placenta, but that is normal at this point. And at this point, we are looking to be inpatient at 24 weeks. Right now, they can't hospitalize me because there's
nothing they can do.
Nothing they can do at this point. Today was a hard day. It's a hard day still. I'm trying to stay positive. Yeah, but it's really hard.
That's why they say it's a roller coaster ride, because between appointments, you start having good conversations, we start talking, we start, accepting and moving forward. And, like we've been having those conversations today, and you do start to feel better, and you start to know that, hey, all of these things are things that we can handle, and these are things that are going to be fine, like moving forward.
He's our baby. We're going to love him no matter what. It's just hard.
It's just a constant, when you go to these appointments every 2 weeks and you're hit with something else and then hit with something else, it does tend to beat you down a little bit. And at the moment when you're hearing it, you just don't want to hear it anymore. You're just so looking forward to going and sitting down and getting some positive news.
Yeah.
Like with the last appointment, we felt like we had relatively positive news, but then we heard about the bladder issue and that all these things could lead to increased heart failure.
Yeah.
Today, when we asked about the chromosomal thing, he said they test for most of the common ones, as rare as those are. They're common, but there's a lot of what he called obscure chromosomal issues,
Like
and that
1
in 300,000 is kind of how is the numbers he threw out there, that we could have a chromosomal issue that only occurs 1 every 300,000 pregnancies. And we don't know what that means. He mentioned that he didn't think that it was a fatal thing, but
yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, because we're still facing them being in the same sack.
And because right now baby looks so healthy, he doesn't think that whatever is going on we don't know for sure if there is a chromosomal thing, and we won't know until I guess they can start really making a better assessment as they start putting all the pieces together and putting all the clues together. And then they got to go and do their research, because we're dealing with something that is potentially very rare, that they have to start looking at, what are some cases of where these different things all occur. Because like I was saying, in isolation the heart conditions happen. In isolation the ulnar dysplasia can happen. The umbilical cord, the bladder, these things do occur by themselves in more pregnancies, but when you put them all together in one baby, and the fact that it's a mono, which apparently mono pregnancies do tend to have a higher risk of these kinds of deficiencies, that it starts to point to being something chromosomal. And he's been hinting at that for a while, that there's something just because of the heart alone. And our cardiologist kind of mentioned it too. But it's all speculation at this point, and nothing definitive has been given to us. But we have a baby that's healthy, that's growing, that's, as he used the word, that's thriving. We have baby A's doing amazing, as healthy as any normal pregnancy could be. It's just, and I mentioned that on our drive home. It's like, we can't forget about our other baby boy is doing really good, and our focus tends to always be on the negative and not focusing on the stuff that we should be grateful that baby A is doing so well. Even though we got hit with some more bad news today, there's a lot of good that you can celebrate as well, but it does tend to just start to pile up, and then the unknown is always so scary, especially since when I asked him what he thought all these things could be pointing to, what could be going on, what sort of chromosomal thing are we looking at, his response was, if you're asking me if you think this is something that could be fatal, I don't think so. I was like, I wasn't even considering that possibility.
Yeah, I know.
That's not what I was asking, but I guess, I didn't know that was something that occurs. It's not something you hear a lot about. So it just puts more, stress on us, and trying to stay positive becomes more of a challenge every time. But again, we tend to bounce back each time. We do, and I feel like we've already kind of bounced back a little bit today after talking about it, and like trying to always look at the bright side, and talking about, how all these things are going to do nothing but help make the baby a stronger person, and he's going to meet these challenges, and he's thriving, he's doing well right now in his mommy's belly. But once he's born, he's going to have a fight. He's going to be given a great deal of challenges. He's going to be put through a lot, and he's going to get through it, and it's going to make him stronger. It'll make his brother stronger to watch it. It'll make his sister, and it'll make us all stronger to see him fight and get through it and persevere, and he's going to learn that even if he were to be born in a situation where we had to amputate his arm, that's not a disability that he needs to be concerned about. And as I told Blanca, we're all born with deficiencies. Every single one of us, every person. Many of us, you just can't see them because they're mental deficiencies. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have, jerk disease because you just treat people horribly. We all have deficiencies that we can't see in everybody, and his will just be one that'll be visible. But if we focus on his character and him as a person, and how to make him, an individual of strong mind, he'll be able to do great things with whatever physical or visible disability he may have. There's more to the human spirit and their character and just who they are as people, and can be defined by whether or not you're born with both hands functioning perfectly.
I just feel like at this point we just need a miracle, right?
A miracle would be great, yeah. But we're also learning to accept.
Yeah.
And accept that worst case scenario were to come, that it's okay. We hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst, and that makes it a little more easier to deal with as we move forward. And so we just got to prepare ourselves for each and every visit. We'll see the cardiologist in 2 weeks. They'll get a much better view of what's going on with the heart. We're hoping for great news. We're hoping to hear that, it's an easy surgery and it's not going to have long-term effects on his health. And, we already know that it's a process and it goes through stages, but that he'll still be able to live a happy, healthy, normal life after the surgery's done and completed. That's what you want. That's what you want to hear. And so far, that's what we feel like we're at. And then we'll go back and see the high-risk OB, and we'll take another anatomy scan, and we'll look at see how that hand's doing. And our hope is that we see it moving, because up to this point, we feel like we have. We feel like we've...
They said they didn't see movement today.
But we've never seen... This hasn't been an issue in the past. So today it was just in an awkward position, which kind of brought attention, and clearly we recognized that the bone was missing.
Because they did the scan of every single bone.
Yeah, which was I don't remember them even doing that with Annabella before, but...
They did.
Yeah. So we'll just hope that a month from now or 4 weeks from now we see that the hand is functioning. It's the bone is missing, but the rest of the muscles and the tendons and the nerve endings appear to look good. Then that's great news for us.
That's what we hope for.
But we're prepared for any possibility.
It's just really hard right now, but I want to keep my faith. But today's a hard day.
And there's going to be more hard ones to come.
So that's the update for today. I was hoping I would have really good news. I went in there really positive. It just, one thing after another.
But there is good news. It's harder to focus on that.
I know that we have, they're doing good, but it's just things added on top. That every time we go in there, there's something new. And then something new that we share. But I do want to tell you guys that I appreciate all your comments. They're really uplifting.
That's why we want to share our story, because we like to hear from you. We like to hear, we find a lot of people who can share something similar that they went through, and we hear their positive stories, and that's the stuff you want to hear. That helps us to stay focused on the positive and to believe in miracles and know that these things do happen, and that the babies are still small, they're growing, and there's a lot that can change for the better. Not always negative news, but for the better as we move forward and get closer to getting to that 24 weeks, which is still the goal. We still got to get there. Nothing matters until we can get there anyway. So and we're still on track, and we heard the heartbeats, and they're growing fine, and everything looks good.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a new concern for our baby B. He's already got a fight ahead of him. This will just be one more thing. We'll know more about the heart in 2 weeks, and we'll do another update then. And as far as chromosomal or genetic issues, we're still a ways out on that. But it sounds like if there is something going on, we're talking about a very rare condition.
Yeah.
And it's just going to take some time to make that diagnosis. The doctor's not ready to do that now. So maybe in a month when we see him again, we'll have more answers as to what all of these different things, when we put all the puzzle pieces together, what does it mean?
We'll keep praying, and that's it. Like I said, that's all we can do. That's all we have. Yep. So thank you for watching, and thanks for being a part of this and staying with us through this journey, and for your comments again. So see you in our next video. Hopefully it's a better news one. Bye.
Bye.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.